Welcome to BaseCamp 2025. Please take your seat. Our program will begin in a few minutes. Please take your seats and silence your mobile devices. Our program will begin shortly. Please take your seats. Our program is about to begin. Please take your seats. Our program is about to begin. Please welcome Jesse Pollack.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to BaseCamp 2025. I'm Jesse Pollack. I'm the creator of Base, and I am so excited to be here to give you all an update on the state of Base. And for those who are tuning in from the live stream, we are here at BaseCamp in Stowe, Vermont, United States of America, and we're with an annual gathering of builders, creators, traders, organizers, students, 500 of the people at the core of the Base ecosystem. And the goal of the next 48 hours that we have together is to connect, it's to reflect, it's to learn, it's to make new connections, and then it's to figure out how do we accelerate our mission? How do we accelerate the work of building a global economy? But it's not just for the people in the room. Base is for everyone. It's always been for everyone. And so that's why we're live streaming this. It's also why over the next 2 days, as we do workshops and conversations, we're recording all of it and we're going to be releasing it starting Wednesday morning. And so if you're tuning in from afar, we want you here, we want you listening, we want you learning alongside us, and we can't wait to do BaseCamp with you. And Base's mission from the beginning has been to build a global economy that increases innovation, creativity, and freedom. This is the work. And we know we accomplished that, the vision, when the entire world is on chain. 1 million builders, 1 billion people, all of us living and benefiting from this new economy that we've built together. That's Base. It's been an incredible 2 years of hard work. It's all of us that are contributing to it, and it's starting to accelerate faster and faster. We're seeing this in the apps. Y'all are building, and the apps are growing. There are now 800 apps that are being used on a weekly basis, built by all of y'all. Yeah, woo! We're seeing it in the chain. The transaction fee, the transactions are way up and to the right. Fees are way down. Median fee is 0.05 of a cent, processed in 200 milliseconds. We're seeing it in global payments, with global stablecoin payments up to 85 million last month, 10x growth in the last year and a half. And we're seeing it in the creator economy, where there are now more than 300,000 creators who created on Base last month. 300,000. And all of this, all of those creators, those payments, the transactions, it's growing the overall Base economy. There's now $5 billion being put to productive use on Base, and more than $15 billion in the overall economy of the chain. And one big part of that is that Base chain is the best place to build. And I think all of y'all know that if you're here. It's fast with 200 millisecond block times. It's scalable with 1,000 TPS and a pathway to 100x scaling in the near future. It's flexible. You can pay gas with any token, build however you want. It's low cost. It's powerful. And it's global, with 14 stablecoins from different countries today, from Indonesia to Argentina to Brazil to Nigeria, and on-ramps in literally every single country in the world. But the biggest reason why Base is where we are today and why we're growing so quickly is all of you. It's the builders, it's the creators, it's the people showing up every single day to put in the work, to push our mission forward. You are the reason that Base has grown from an idea that we just started 2 years ago to a global economy that we are building together block by block. And it feels pretty good to be in Vermont with all of you. You know, like I got to go up on the gondola yesterday to the top of the mountain. I looked out and I said, wow. And if you've been here wandering around and if you're watching the stream, you might be wondering, what's up with all the rocks? There's a lot of rocks. And we put a lot of rocks around because we think that these rocks represent the long journey that we are in the middle of. And when people go on long journeys and you're wandering on trails, sometimes you get lost. And other people, when the trail is uncertain, they mark the way. They make piles of rocks. Each rock left by someone who came before, helping show the next person the way. And for us, we like to think about the work that we're doing as that. We're paving the way. We're finding those pathways that we don't quite know, but when we find them, we leave a rock for the next builders and the next creator who can come behind us as the entire world comes on chain. And so today, as we're piling those rocks and finding that path, I want to talk about 3 things that we're focused on in the next phase of Base. The first is I want to talk about how we're making Base the best place to build, grow, and earn. The second is I want to talk about how we're making Base the everything economy. And then the third is I want to talk about how we're making Base more open and more decentralized. And so starting with the builders, you know, we, from the beginning, have believed that the only way we build the world on chain is if we support builders to build incredible apps that other people want to use. And we want to help builders at every stage, from idea to app to scale. And it starts with building. That's the hardest part. You got to get started. You got to wake up, say it's a new day one, and get building. And for that, earlier this year, we launched Base Batches, which is a program that we designed to help builders take their idea, turn it into a product, and then turn that product into a business that can grow, support them, and make an impact on this economy that we're building. And the first batch was incredibly successful. We had 5,000 developers partake, hundreds of projects, and 77 teams graduated. The first batch. They got mentorship from leaders across the space, and they raised millions of dollars of funding. And one of the things that was most exciting and inspiring for me about this was that it wasn't just builders from one part of the world. It was builders from every part of the world. The entire world was represented in this batch of builders building the future. And many of them are in the room today. And so with that, I'm excited to announce that we're going to be having the next batch, batch 2, starting September 29th. And with batch 2, we're going to do all the same stuff that people know and love from batch 1, but we're going to make it better. We're going to have more mentorship so people get the right support when they need it, with the right expertise that's going to accelerate them. We're going to have a larger public stage, so graduates are going to demo at DevConnect in Argentina and at the Ethereum World Fair. It's going to be an incredible platform for visibility, distribution, and funding. And then finally, we're going to have more funding, from grants to investments, from the Coinbase Ventures team to Base Ecosystem Fund to the tens and tens of investors who are realizing that being early to Base is the best place to be. And so I'm super, super excited about batches and super excited for the next group of graduates who are going to be a part of it. Now I want to talk about growing. You can get started building your business, but once you launch, that's just the beginning. Again, it's a new day one. You got to go and grow. You got to make it so people actually use your product. And for this, we just launched Base Build. It is a single place where you can get access to analytics, distribution, and rewards. And we're seeing hundreds and hundreds of builders use it already. And one of the really exciting things is that what this dashboard is doing and what we're seeing happen in the flywheel is that builders are building and then they're connecting to users in the apps. And so 40% of users in the new Base app, which I'll talk about in a second, are using mini apps regularly. And this is the entry point that connects the two. So there's three things that this does. First, Base Builder, you can get analytics. So it's the best place to understand what your users are doing and how you can make your product better. Second, it gets you distribution. You can get featured in the Base app, and you can get more users flowing to you. And then third, it gets you rewards. This is starting with $500 of free gas credits, so you can build gasless experiences for every builder. We're going to have on-chain summer rewards coming out soon, and then we're going to have more and more builder rewards that recognize and reward you for your contributions to this economy that we're building together. But it's not just understanding your users that is going to help you build a successful business. You also need to reach them, and you need to reach them in a scalable, sustainable, and economically viable way. And earlier this year, we welcomed the Spindle team to Base to do exactly that. And if you don't know, the Spindle team builds a decentralized ads protocol. And I know that ads is a little bit of a bad word, but it's an incredibly important tool for connecting builders to users. And it's the thing that's grown the internet economy to where we are today. And the Spindle ads protocol is growing really quickly. It now serves more than 8 million wallets across a ton of different countries, 140 countries, and a ton of different publishers, from BitGet to Jumper, and of course, the new Base app. And because these ads are running on-chain, they have superpowers. It's a new model that the Spindle team innovated called cost per value. What that means is that you can target users based on their on-chain activity to find exactly the segment that you want, and then you can pay for them to do a specific action that you can convert and track on-chain. So you can say, I want my user to lend, I want my user to trade, and the value that you earn is the value that you pay into the protocol to acquire that user. It's incredibly efficient. And what we're seeing is that it's really, really working. Kind of like to a crazy extent, given how early we are. This is Morpho. They started using Spindle and running ads in the Base app. They're seeing a 6x higher click-through rate on the ads going through the Spindle protocol than on any other ad surface they're running. And they're having a 7x return on ad spend. And so if you're a builder, this is a tool that you can add to your toolkit. So when you have a product that works, you can start to acquire and scale your user base in a way that's ROI positive for you, that delivers value back to your business. And it's not just app builders who can benefit from this. It's also people who are building things like wallets and social feeds. If you have a surface area where you have user attention, we can help you run ads too. And then you can monetize so that you can grow your business faster, you can earn from the attention, and you can help your users find the things that they want to do. So that's the growing part. We're doing a lot of growing. And then the third thing is earning. And we think that earning isn't something that just builders should do. Everyone should earn. Whether you're a builder, you're a creator, you're just an everyday person, if you are contributing to this global economy that we're building, you should earn. And that's why, earlier this summer, we launched the Base app. It's in beta. It's an everything app. It's a social network, an app store, chat, payments, trading, all in one place. And the really exciting thing about this is that because it's built on open protocols, like Zora and Farcaster and XMTP, it's becoming this canvas where people are innovating at the edge of what is possible on-chain with consumer experiences. And I will say the response has been overwhelming at times because so many people want access, but what we've been really focused on is just making the product work. It's a beta. It's early. We put it out there early. We like to do things early. And since we launched the beta, we've just been shipping. Heads down shipping, heads down learning, heads down shipping. We have better discovery of trending, coins. We have in-feed trading. We have a faster performance, which is so, so important for this everyday app that all of us need to use. And then we have a web experience. So people can actually share their content. They can buy that content directly in line. But there's a lot more coming. And as we've thought about how we want to roll this out, the thesis has been we need to be thoughtful. But in this early stage, where we just have a few thousand creators in there, we're seeing really exciting results. We have more than $500,000 earned directly from creators, for creators. We have more than 50% of creators who come into the app and started posting who earn. Incredible earning rate. And then I think one of the things that has most stood out to creators who are used to the Web 2 platforms that oftentimes cut them out is that the earning is instant. And this is a superpower of on-chain. It's not like, oh, I post great content and then I earn 60 days later or 90 days later. It's no, I post content, my content is valuable, and I earn instantly. That is the magic experience that all of us, I think, are experiencing now, and the whole world is going to experience in the years ahead. And we have now more than 1 million people on the wait list. And so we've been iterating and iterating, but I can promise you we're just getting started. And for this next phase, we need a little bit of help. And the thing that I'm most excited about is today is when you can help us. As of right now, everyone at BaseCamp is going to get 5 invites to the Base app. And when you're building a social network, which is what we're building, a social network that sits on this global economy, how we bring people into the network is really important. And my ask for all of y'all is that as you invite people, and please invite people, you do it and you do 3 things. First, whether you're on the stream or you're in the audience, I want you to personally invite people. Don't share out a link on Twitter, or don't post it in a Telegram group. Find the people who you think can contribute to the network, can help us build Base better, can create, the Instagram creator who's never earned, the builder on Web 2 who has never built their app on chain, and intentionally invite them. Second thing is, help them do their first action on chain. Make their first post, build their first mini app, send a message, do a payment. That experience is the hook. We see it again and again. And then the third thing is close the loop with them. If they post something on Base, buy it. That feedback loop of, oh, I'm recognized, I'm seen in this network, is the loop that drives those earnings, and that is the viral hook that will keep them there and will get them to invite their friends. For everyone online, we're going to be rolling out more of these invites over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and we're going to be opening up the Base app to everyone in the world later this year. So that's the earn part. And just to summarize this, we think about it as build, grow, earn. We are helping the earliest stage builders build with batches. We're also helping them find homes to grow beyond that. I was at Y Combinator earlier this week, and they're fired up to support Base builders and to grow the crypto economy, and we're going to help people get into that. With build and ads, we're helping you grow, so you can have the tools, the analytics, the distribution, the cost-effective way of acquiring new users and adding them to your business. And then with the Base app, we're making it so everyone can earn. Because as we build this economy, all of us deserve to benefit from it. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the everything economy. And the place that this starts in is that I think most of our experience of crypto today can be pretty frustrating at times. And a big part of it is it's hard to do things across different chains and different ecosystems. You need a different app, you have a different balance. And for us, from the beginning of Base, we want to make it so everything just works, so that you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, all in one place. And this has literally been a core part of our thesis from the beginning. We've said again and again in our team meetings and on the all hands that we do and the external conversations that Base is a bridge, not an island. And we've built that into the core. This is why we built Base on Ethereum, and it's why we're doubling down with the Ethereum Foundation right now on connecting up the Ethereum ecosystem and making all of that shared liquidity work together. It's why we built Base on the superchain with Optimism, so that we could have open source, open standards, scaling Base and scaling the entire ecosystem. We're doing this because we think that this is the way we make the entire ecosystem better, by making it open and interoperable. And at the same time as we're doing that work, we're seeing that the number of companies who are coming on chain, maybe building their own chains, is accelerating. And we're nervous, and we don't think that that's going to be successful if those are islands. If they're all islands, then it's a disconnected world. For a better global economy to work, we need it to be interoperable and connected, not isolated and closed. If it's isolated and closed, we risk rebuilding the same silos that we have today on a new tech. And to help make this vision a reality, I'm really excited that today we're launching a new bridge between Base and Solana. I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited about this. And it's built for developers. The goal of this bridge is to make it so you can build seamlessly across both Base and Solana with Sol, with ERC20s, and with SPL tokens. It lets you do three things. First, you can deposit and use Sol in any Base app. So if you're a developer building an app, you're just going to be able to use Sol. You're going to be able to bring over those balances and have it just work. Second, you can be able to import any Solana token into your Base app. So you can build on the economy that's growing there, help creators, do whatever you want seamlessly across the two ecosystems. And then third, you're going to be able to take Base tokens that you've created and export them to Solana. So you can tap into the liquidity there. And this means for builders and creators, you get access to more users, more liquidity, more tools to build. And for users, it means it's just going to work. The experiences that developers are going to build are going to take away the complexity and make it dead simple. This bridge is now live on testnet, and integration is going on. We have incredible teams like Aerodrome and Zora and Virtual who are already starting to use this bridge today to make the best things happen between Solana and Base. And we want everyone else to use it too. So if you're interested in building on it as a developer, you can go to github.com/base/bridge. We're going to be around all BaseCamp to help you get started. And we think this is a really, really powerful tool to help connect the Base and Solana ecosystems. But it doesn't stop there. As more players enter the space, our goal is to make it just work, to connect the global economy. We think about it as every asset, every network, at any time. That is the everything economy. That's Base. And finally, I want to talk about one more thing. And this is how we're making Base more open and decentralized. I just want to take a sip of water on this one. And I want to be really real with you guys on this one, because this is an exciting one. And where this starts is, from the beginning, we have had the value that Base is for everyone. And the place that this came from for our team, and honestly for me personally, from day one, was that the only way we can build a global economy is if we make it built for everyone. And in the journey of Base, as we've gone from day one to where we are today, new day ones along the way, this has meant different things. In the beginning, in the early days, Base is for everyone meant being laser focused on the product. We went out and we talked to builders. We said, what do you need? And then we heard they needed better tools to participate in this global economy. And so we built a secure, low-cost, fast, builder-friendly chain. That was Base Chain. And then the builders started cooking, and the chain started growing. We achieved our North Star, sub-cent transactions, sub-second transactions. And the next frontier was, okay, how do we go get creators? How do we make it work for everyone there? How do we get consumers, regular people, to come on chain? And we expanded access to Base with an easy app for anyone to create, to build, to trade, to earn, to benefit from this new economy. And as we started pulling our head up from that and thinking about the next chapter, 2026 and beyond, we've asked ourselves, we're at tens of millions of people today. What does it look like for Base to meet for everyone on a global scale, for billions of people? And we didn't know all the answers. Sorry, my mic just popped off. But we zeroed in on a few things. The first is that we believe that Base has to be a decentralized network. And we made good progress on this. Base is stage 1 today, but we also have a lot more work to do. Second, we believe at our core that builders, that creators, that the people participating in the economy have to be aligned participants. Because the economy can only work if we're the ones shaping it and benefiting from it. And then finally, we know that we need to keep pushing the boundaries of what we can do with crypto. Because the only way we're going to have this positive impact on the world is if we're willing to push boundaries and be creative and figure out how these new tools can unlock new systems for all of us. And so with those as the North Stars, we're going to be exploring a network token for Base. And I will be upfront with y'all. It's early. And I'm a little nervous, like my heart's racing sitting here on stage. And as we thought about sharing this early exploration, I got all sorts of advice. People telling me, don't share it, you need to keep it close to your chest, it's too early. And I sat back in myself, and our team sat back in ourselves, and we said, what's the Base way to do this? And the Base way was we do it in the open. We don't have all the answers. We really don't. But we're going to figure it out. And we're going to figure it out together. Because we think this could be a really, really powerful tool for building the global economy that all of us believe in. And as we do that work, I want to make 3 commitments to all of you. The first, and this is just to kill the FUD, we're committed to building on Ethereum. This is the path. People are going to make all kinds of noise, but we benefit from being a part of a connected global economy. The second is that we're going to do this right. We've always done it right. Coinbase has been doing it right for 15 years. And Base, we're going to work with regulators, we're going to work with legislators, we're going to figure out what does it look like to do this in the best possible way. And then finally, we're going to do it in a based way. We're going to build in the open. We're going to listen. We're going to learn. We're going to have conversations. Why are we sharing this at BaseCamp? Because we want to spend the next 2 days hearing from all of you and figuring out what does it mean to do this in a way that lives up to our values, that pushes boundaries with creativity, that puts the team over the individual. And so on this point, I just want to emphasize there's still a lot of unanswered questions. But I woke up this morning and I felt like it was a new day one, a new opportunity for all of us to figure out how do we use one of the most powerful tools that has ever existed to make Base the global economy that all of us believe in. And so you're going to see a change in our Twitter bio later today, and we're going to get started on a new journey. It's still day one. Good morning. Good morning. And so I want to wrap it up. And I want to wrap it up with a few asks for everyone. For the people who are in the audience and for the people who are on the stream. The first is for the people in the audience, and that is, you are here for 2 days. Make the most of it. Find the people who you need to meet. Connect with them, learn from them. Figure out what's going to be the spark that accelerates you to the next chapter of whatever you're building, whatever you're creating, and thereby accelerates the rest of this economy to grow faster. And then for the people watching on the live stream, hey, we're so grateful that you're here. We're so grateful that you're tuning in. We wish you could be here in person with us, but we're glad that you're getting to experience this and be a part of it with us alongside us. And I want 2 things. One is, keep an eye on the socials. We are going to be releasing all of the sessions over the next few days as quickly as humanly possible so it can be happening in real time starting on Wednesday. Watch those. There's so much great content coming out that so many people have worked on to help push forward our collective understanding of what is Base and how are we building it. And then second, send us your questions. We just shared a tweet. I'm going to be doing a virtual AMA tomorrow, and we want to get all of your questions so I can sit down, answer them, and we can have a conversation. And so with that, I want to close this out with one more thought, which is that our moment is here. The time is now. The world is coming on chain. It's millions of users who are using the products that all of y'all build. And the builders and the creators and the organizers in this room, on this stream, are the people who are going to turn that from millions to tens of millions to billions. So keep building, stay based, and let's fucking build. Here we go. And so we have a couple of conversations that are going to happen. The first one is I want to welcome Shan Agarwal to the stage. Shan's the Chief Business Officer at Coinbase. Not only that, but Shan is one of my closest collaborators and friends. We've been building for 7 years together. I think you got to say it again.
Hello, BaseCamp. Good morning.
Shan, thanks for being here.
I'm pumped. Thank you for having me.
I just want to kick us off with addressing the elephant in the room. Like, what's your reaction to the news that we're exploring a token?
I'm honestly super excited about it. I mean, since the early days of Base, the plan was always to progressively decentralize. And I think we've been very thoughtful about not exploring that too early in Base's life cycle, but it can be a really interesting tool to accelerate that path towards decentralization and then also just supercharge growth by rewarding developers and creators in the ecosystem.
Yeah. I'm excited too, and it's still early, it's still day one, but this is what we're going to figure out together. How do we use this new crypto economic tool to accomplish our vision? And then the other big thing that we just did is we we brought together two ecosystems. We brought together Base and Solana with this bridge. How do you feel about that? What's your reaction?
I feel like you're always just connecting different communities, different ecosystems, Jesse. No, but I think when we think about the on-chain world, it's so important that it's an interconnected world. And I think if we recreate the sins of the past and we sort of have all of these different siloed on-chain ecosystems, it just doesn't work. And the reason is because if you have different siloed ecosystems, it restricts liquidity, it restricts creativity. And one of the things that's really powerful about open permissionless protocols is it has this capability of unleashing human creativity. Like developers can build on other protocols. And so I think bridges like that are super critical for just connecting this on-chain ecosystem.
Yeah, and I think the powerful thing about crypto is when we put these technological investments in place, like a bridge, then they expand to the cultural. And so this is one of the things that I'm most excited about, is there's so many great builders in Solana, so much great energy, and having us be able to collaborate more closely and literally have a technical substrate where we can do that, where we can bring the ecosystems together, I think is going to be incredibly powerful. So now, stepping away from just this, there's so many builders in the room, and you are someone who, you're chief business officer at Coinbase. You also built Coinbase Ventures from the ground up. That's done 500 venture investments. You guys also started the Base Ecosystem Fund, which has done tens and tens of investments into Base. Can you just tell us a little bit more about what's the fund, the Base Ecosystem Fund? What type of builders are you supporting? How do you think about supporting and investing in builders generally?
Totally, yeah. So the Base Ecosystem Fund is kind of a natural extension and evolution of Coinbase Ventures. When we started Coinbase Ventures in 2018, the pain point that we saw was there was a lot of interesting founders and entrepreneurs that wanted to start businesses in crypto, but there weren't really that many people investing in crypto. Right. And so it was really difficult to sort of start your business and get it off the ground. So we started Coinbase Ventures to support the best and brightest minds that were building crypto projects.
And just to clarify, is Coinbase Ventures like the largest venture crypto investor in the world?
One of the most active crypto venture investors in the entire world. Now the portfolio is over 550 companies.
I mean, it's crazy. Like literally from 2018 through 2 bear markets, just writing checks.
Yeah, and we're going to be consistent and investing across cycles for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
But back to Base Ecosystem Fund. When we started Base, we heard from builders a very similar sort of pain point, which was we actually want to build on Base, we want to start these businesses, individual developers, more experienced teams, but we needed access to capital. We need some funding, we need some type of avenue to help us get these things off the ground. And so we birthed Base Ecosystem Fund as a separate pool of capital that was specifically focused on investing in the best and the brightest builders in the Base community. And to date, we've invested in over 50 companies and founders, that many of whom are in this room today. And we're excited to continue to do more and even broaden out that access to capital. So one thing that we did with the Base Ecosystem Fund over the last year is we started a Base Ecosystem Fund group in partnership with Echo. And that was really a way to allow for broader community participation, because what I heard from a lot of people was, how can we invest alongside you? We actually really want to invest in the same companies that you're investing in through the Base Ecosystem Fund. And so we found a really interesting on-chain native way to do that with Echo, and we're looking for more opportunities like that to scale Base Ecosystem Fund's impact.
Yeah, it's been so cool watching Echo. For those who maybe haven't seen this, you can literally go to echo.xyz, which is a builder on Base. You can join the Base Ecosystem Fund group, and then the deals that the Base Ecosystem Fund does, we get put side by side, and you can invest right alongside us. And so, literally, I will say that this was a tool that I wanted, because from the beginning of Base, I made the conscious decision to not angel invest. It felt too complicated, too many mixed incentives, and I worked on the Base Ecosystem Fund with y'all, where we could have a consistent, cohesive way. But that meant I couldn't be participating in this and investing and deploying my capital into the ecosystem. And this is exactly what Echo's enabled. And I think one of the powerful things that it also enables is it enables all of us to participate. Right? That's the future we believe in, a future where builders and creators and people and investors are aligned participants in the ecosystem that we're building.
And I think that's one of the truly special things about crypto protocols and tokens, is that it's an amazing avenue between different counterparties. And so with Echo, it's a great way for the community to be more directly invested, but then those are also the power users and the people that carry forward the ecosystem.
Yes.
So it creates this like very positive sum multiplier effect.
Yeah, it's a reinforcing cycle. And as you've been investing in those base ecosystem companies, like what are the things that you generally look for in founders who are kind of like coming up and growing quickly and then being invested in by the base ecosystem fund?
Yeah, long-term orientation. So like when we think about the best projects, we're not thinking about, hey, what's your 6 or 12-month roadmap? It's really what is the 2, 3, 5-year vision, and how does that ladder up to something that can be amazing? The second is we're looking for outlier ideas that can really just 10x the on-chain economy that we're building in Base. But really those 2 core nuggets, and then third, just being positive sum, positive energy, in it for the right reasons.
Yeah, I love that. And one of the things that we've been really trying to intentionally do with things like batches and all the investments we're making in kind of the builder side is give people a pathway where, it may be that right when you start, if it's your first time building a company, you're not quite a fit for the Base Ecosystem Fund, although we're going to be expanding opportunities and finding more ways to fund people. But maybe when you join Batches, you go through an accelerator, then you are, because you've built some skills, you've found your idea, you've actually invested. And I think having those pathways where, depending on what stage of your life cycle you're in, as a founder and as a business, you can get the backing that you need, you can get the right size capital, and then you can have a pathway to keep growing with the ecosystem. It's so important.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've focused mostly on early stage investments to date, but like as that evolution progresses, we'll expand the access to capital for growth stage investments, and I'm looking forward to having hundreds of millions of dollars invested in Base founders that we help coordinate.
Yeah, I'm ready for the Base IPOs to start coming, right? We're not, but they're gonna be on chain.
On chain.
They gotta be IPOs on chain. So let's talk a little bit about Base specifically, because you also have this really interesting kind of like cross ecosystem viewpoint where you work with people from all different ecosystems, L1s, L2s, chains, protocols. What feels different about Base? How is Base? Yeah, like what is Base?
Yeah, so Coinbase is obviously a platform. We support every protocol and really provide users access to wherever innovation emerges in the on-chain economy. And the thing that I've noticed over the last 12 to 18 months is there's definitely a natural gravitational pull more so towards Base. And I was asking myself the question of that too, is like, well, why do we do that? Obviously, a ton of amazing energy and effort that's gone into it by the team. But I think there's really like 2 things that are differentiated. So one is the community is very vibrant, positive sum, focused on creativity, and then real world utility. So people who are building like real world impact, things that benefit creators, things that bring institutions on chain to actually offer better products and services. And I think that contrasts with a lot of other ecosystems where there's great infrastructure, maybe great technology, but a lot of it is just infrastructure and technology. There's not like that application layer and focused on things that are making a difference in the real world.
Yeah.
So that's first. And then second is obviously the close association with Coinbase and being incubated within Coinbase. And this is something that you and I partner on a lot, but as we think about Coinbase, moving Coinbase more and more on-chain, the way we do that is by integrating on-chain financial services into Coinbase. And by doing that, we're not on-chain for the sake of being on-chain. It's because we believe that on-chain protocols allow us to offer better financial services, better trading, better lending, better things like that. And so we can expose our users to that. But it's important because you take core infrastructure and you can bootstrap it with a demand side so that developers can actually find users, they can find distribution for their products, and then that starts that virtuous flywheel that's needed for any project to grow.
Yeah, and it's been so cool watching Coinbase like get it and start to move on chain. I mean, just in the last 7 months, they launched the Bitcoin Borrow product, which is powered by Morpho using USDC. And there's, I think now like $1.5 billion of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And this is like a one-tap borrow experience in the Coinbase app. You wouldn't know it was an on-chain product, but it's funneling liquidity into Base, making the markets richer, and kind of driving this innovation. And it's all powered by Base builders.
Yeah.
Another one, the DEX integration that makes it so now you can trade any Base asset on Coinbase. Airdrome, Uniswap, 0x, like all of this Base ecosystem infrastructure is powering it. I mean, that connective tissue, I think is both valuable because of course it brings distribution, but I think it's also just been so incredible to like watch Coinbase pave the way for other people. It's like I'm starting to see, oh no, now someone else is launching a Bitcoin Borrow product. It's like Coinbase has been figuring out how do you actually make these tools work at scale,
Yeah.
and they're figuring it out on Base.
Yeah, and I think if you believe that open permissionless protocols enable better financial services, better alignment of incentives, it's just really amazing to see because you don't have to squint too hard to see like this is the future direction
Right.
for a lot of financial products and a lot of social media products, et cetera, is that we won't talk about on-chain or off-chain in the future. It'll just be like this is the best product and service that exists for the end user.
This wasn't a question I was going to plan to ask you, but I want to get your perspective. You joined Coinbase in 2017, right?
Early 2018.
Early 2018. So like basically, I joined early 2017. So we're a little bit apart. We've been here building together. What's your story of like how Base started? Like, where did it come from inside the business? Like, what was the thing that led to that kind of bleeding? And you ran the ventures. We did every single component of Base doing it. Like, what's your story? For that?
I think we always had this sort of Gordian knot of a problem, which was Coinbase in 2018, was enabling this on-chain economy and had this vision for the on-chain economy, but it was largely an off-chain business, right? Like most of what we did was off-chain. And I think there was this very strong desire internally to do more on-chain, but there was always this question, which is, what is Coinbase's on-chain home? Like, where do we
do it?
What do we do? Like, and you see all of these different teams inside of Coinbase, and we're saying like, oh, well, we should do this because it's good for this, and we should do over here because it's good for here. And it just became this like quagmire that I think was really stifling innovation at the company. And I mean, thanks to you and for your vision, like having just that coordinated, cohesive Coinbase's on-chain home vision and like planting that stake in the ground, I think that's been a huge clarifying factor and accelerant to all of these things that you're seeing now, where we do really feel like we're on the bleeding edge and blurring the lines between what's an off-chain product and an on-chain product. And I think you're going to see Coinbase now build many, many more on-chain products, on-chain native products, and we'll do them on Base first. We'll continue to support other ecosystems, but Base is really our on-chain home.
Yeah, I love that. One other question on this is, you mentioned the kind of connection between Base and Coinbase and incubated by Coinbase. I've always felt like that connection is like greatest strength and also a big risk, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like we have this superpower of being connected, where we're learning all these things, distribution, brand, but then the goal is decentralization.
Yeah.
Right? Like we have to decentralize the network, and Coinbase is it's a centralized company that's been around for 15 years. Like, how do you feel like we're navigating that in the milieu of Base? What's your take on how we're doing?
I mean, we're early days, but I think building in the open, getting feedback, ensuring that we're doing it in the right way, those are all the right things, right? Yeah. And so I think it goes back to the network token. It's a first step. It's early days. Like, we need to learn a lot, but I think fundamentally when we started Base, like everyone acknowledged and knew that that is the direction of travel. That's what needs to happen because it caters to the grander vision, right? Which the grander vision is to create more economic freedom in the world, to have a more fair, transparent, globally accessible digital economy. And I think we believe that we're fundamentally replatforming the internet around these open protocols. And so I think this is just, we're sort of on schedule and moving along, which is why I'm really excited to see the announcement today.
Yeah. And I will say that one of the things that has really made all of this possible is Brian. Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, who from the day we launched the testnet of Base, no one knew. I don't think anyone knew it was coming. We did the blue dot thing, which kind of went viral, and then we launched the testnet. And Brian, at like 11 p.m. that night, it was a great day, of course, because it went viral in a good way and people were excited. He messaged me, and late night message from CEO is always a little nerve-wracking. And he messaged me and he said two things. He said, one, you just shipped the testnet, so like don't get too ahead of yourself. Like go ship the mainnet. Like go deliver value to customers. But I'm really excited and proud of you, and that was really nice. But also grounding. And then the second thing he said was, we have to decentralize this. We have to decentralize this. That's the only way it works. It's the only way we can accomplish our mission, is if we decentralize it.
I mean, it is really rare. Like, you think about how many CEOs are there of S&P 500 listed companies that have a diverse group of shareholders, and you say, hey, actually, we're going to progressively decentralize this thing. A lot of people's heads blow up, right? But I think he does very firmly believe it and instills that culture from the top, which is very clarifying.
Yeah, and then it trickles down, and it makes it so much easier for all of us to work together. 'Cause
Yeah.
we know where we're going.
Yeah.
We know what the end state is, and then we have to do the work of figuring it all out, which we're doing in the open, we're doing with all of you. I want to pull back the lens a little bit, off of Base, outside of venture investments. What are you seeing happen kind of like economically in the world with technology, and what are you watching most closely right now?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about AI and stablecoins these days, but I'll talk about a few others that I think are more relevant to this audience. So the first that I'm really excited about, and I think we're seeing it unfold in front of our eyes, is the like financialization of everything. So you have creator coins, you have prediction markets, and I think if you zoom out a little bit, you basically have markets for basically everything in your life. And you have markets that are much more relevant to every individual's daily life. And so there's sort of a blurring of these lines. And when you have new markets, you have new participants that can come to those markets because historically, trading and investing was sort of like an activity for the 1%. It was sophisticated investors and institutional investors. And even if you look at a lot of the laws and regulations that are written around this, it's sort of like oriented as like consumer protection. We don't want you to invest. But I think that those lines are blurring to the point that investing, trading is just going to become like a core part of your daily life. Just like you check social media and you click like or you comment or message with your friends, it's becoming normal course to say, well, great, I'm going to invest $50 in this thing or $100 in that thing.
Or $2.
Or $2, whatever
this
it is.
Like it's not just changing culturally. You also literally see the change in the product. Like I'm scrolling the Zora feed now, and I double tap, and it's like $1 investment in a piece of content that feels like a like.
Yeah. And it's broader than that. It's just like in everything where if you have domain knowledge around sports or economics or something like that, you can do prediction markets. And so I think this is just like a broader trend where trading and social are becoming like more intertwined natively, which is why I'm very excited about all the stuff that we're doing on TBA and enabling creators. But it segues with the broader creator economy, right? Because we have this opportunity, I think, to re-platform media in a way that better aligns incentives between creators, audiences, and then distribution platforms, where historically the balance of that power was very much tilted towards distribution platforms that built out closed wall gardens. And so this re-platforming effect, I think, is going to take place over the next 5 to 10 years, but it's one of the most interesting technology trends that I think exists out there.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it. And I feel like as we're thinking about building the Base economy, we started with the builders. The next chapter, there's 10 million, 20 million builders in the world. There's 200 million creators in the world.
Yeah.
And they're not served today by the existing tools. And so that opportunity to serve those folks, build apps to help them, bring all their content, which we know is worth billions and billions and billions of dollars, and actually put it back in their hands.
Right.
It's incredible. Any closing thoughts for builders as people are just getting started or creators? Like, how should they be? What's one piece of advice for a builder or a creator who's maybe feeling down or feeling like they have to grind or whatever it is?
Just get started, I think like even for me, whenever I think about a big problem or a task, it's like very daunting. But it's like if you just focus on 1% improvement on an everyday basis or every week basis, then like that progress compounds and it builds over time. And so you have a support system, I think, within the Base community, with the Base ecosystem fund. And so I hope everybody here today can use this opportunity to connect, share some of those problems that you're facing with other people in the ecosystem, and then just focus on that 1% and just compounding the incremental gains that you can make.
I love it. Shan, thank you so much for joining us. We almost did in the Base punch. Okay, we gotta do a little stage shift. We're gonna now welcome up 3 new folks. They're gonna do a stage shift, I think. And I'm just gonna kill some time. How's everybody feeling? If you're on the live stream, thank you for tuning in. It's been so awesome to have so many people from all around the world getting to participate in this moment. And I'm always nervous before big events like these, but it's just It's so inspiring to be sitting in the audience, to be standing on stage and then be looking out into the audience and be like, oh, these are my people. Like, I literally look through the rows of people and I'm like, I know all of you. And sometimes I don't recognize your faces because I DM with you and it's your little avatars. But I'm getting better at connecting them up. And just like having that experience of all of y'all being in the room, particularly as we're embarking on a new journey that is uncertain, that we do have to figure out, is a pretty magical thing. And so with that, I want to welcome 3 new folks to the audience. We have Jacob. I want to welcome 3 new folks to the stage. We have Jacob Horn, co-founder and CEO of Zora. We have Alex Cutler, who's one of the core contributors to Aerodrome. And then we have Brianna Chang, who's the head of product for Virtuals. Welcome, y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks for flying. Who came from the further? You definitely came.
Yeah.
Where'd you come from?
From Malaysia, guys. Hi. Anyone else from Malaysia?
Yeah, Malaysia in the house. We were doing the math, and I think we have people from something like 45 countries here. 45 countries.
A lot of.
Came to upstate Vermont.
Yes.
Crazy.
We always like to make BaseCamp a little bit of a trek because it feels like you're doing the work to get there. And that makes it all the more meaningful for all of us. And we have a bunch of things to talk about. But to kick us off, we obviously just had an exciting announcement about us starting to explore a network token. What are y'all's initial reactions? Alex, you want to start us off?
Yeah. I think if you had any doubts that Base was not going to just flip Solana, but become the #1 largest chain in the world, they've been removed. And I've got a few reasons for that. One is a token means billions of dollars of economic stimulus flowing into the Base ecosystem. And that means a lot for builders and users. The second thing is that this allows Base to finally achieve its vision of being a truly decentralized network. And I think if you combine that with Base's technical and product leadership and Coinbase's ability to distribute the Base economy to over 100 million users, you have the makings of not just, I think, the #1 chain globally, but the hub of an on-chain economy that's poised to onboard 10% of global GDP in the next 5 years.
That's an ambitious goal, but I like it.
Yeah.
10% of global GDP. I think we can do it. I believe in us. Brianna?
We can. I think we are pretty excited to see this. When our co-founders and us found out about this, the chat basically exploded. Like, there are a lot of ideas coming in on how can Base basically bring in more founders. So like, imagine if there is emissions going out to like the legit builders out there that's coming to Base. When people come to us and ask, should we be on Base? We have extra reason to tell them that, hey, you know what? Other than building with us, Base is also supporting you guys by giving you some certain token emissions coming to you guys and extra. It's just additional benefits and like things that we can tell the builders to come and build with us.
Yeah,
I think that's like the flywheel that we can play around with that, and really exciting to see what else can we play.
Yeah, it has the potential to be an accelerant.
Yeah.
In a big way. Jacob?
I mean, tokens are probably one of the most powerful inventions in the past 10, 15 years. They're incredibly powerful tools to create ownership on the internet, align incentives across adversarial and many different parties, and can help us decentralize things further than have been possible in prior systems. So it makes perfect sense to me, and it's kind of impressive Base made it this far without having one. So I can only imagine how much further and faster it's going to go if it ends up launching a network token. So I'm extremely excited, and I think done right should set a standard for like everyone on the planet to be able to launch a token as a company, as a project, as an individual, whatever it may be. So I'm extremely excited.
Well, I'm getting fired up sitting here with you guys. And it's still early, but just to your point on the, impressive that Base made it this far without a token. I think one of the things that we really believed from the beginning was that when we started, we needed to just be laser focused on the product, and we didn't want like noise. And candidly, it's one of the things that I'm nervous about as we're entering this next phase and as we're starting to do this exploration in the open is like, is the noise going to drown out the signal and make it harder for us to build? But given what you're saying and what I think we all know about the power of tokens to accelerate and to decentralize, it feels like it's the next step of the journey. We've gotten the product to the level of maturity where it's working. Builders are onboarding. They're not here just to go, airdrop farm a token. They're here to build. Right. And creators are here to create. And I think one thing that, I guess an ask for everyone here in the audience and everyone streaming is, it's going to take us time to figure this out. We have work to do to figure out. That's why we're going to talk to all of y'all. And we want your input. And also, this could be a massive distraction if we think about it wrong. And so what we need to keep doing in parallel to figuring this out is building and creating and being laser focused on how do we build the best global economy. And then we can think about how does the token accelerate, but we can't lose sight of the end goal, which is making people's lives better. Businesses, consumers, creators, everyone. Yeah. OK, and I just want to dive into the learning part. Because, again, now that this is out in the open, that we're exploring this, we can actually learn. And that's the big thing that unlocks for me. And if folks don't know in the audience, these three people are probably like some of the most incredible innovators around tokens and token economics and how you design these systems in the world. Alex and Aerodrome have basically created this fair launch, constant incentives distribution, all value flowing back to token holders with Arrow and VE Arrow. Brianna and Virtuals invented the quote pairing model, where they kind of figured out, oh, we can build this flywheel around the virtuals economy by pairing agents to virtuals. And then Jacob took the virtuals model, and we've had conversations about this, where it's like, this is an inspiration, and figured out, how do we accelerate that flywheel? How do we make it stronger? And how do we make it work for creators? And so I feel like you're the leaders. As we're starting to think about this, and again, it's still early, we're still exploring, what's something you've learned from your experience of figuring out how to bring this thing on chain and building a token? Jacob?
Yeah, I think you have to have a strong vision for how it's going to be kind of inseparable from the core system or product that you're building. So the Zora that exists today, we couldn't build without the Zora token. Basically, it's like, okay, we've tokenized at the atomic level of posts, memes, all forms of content. And then we pair that with the creator coin, so that essentially creates an index of all of their posts. And then Zora as a network, which is trying to bring on as many different creators as possible and unlock as much value as we possibly can for our system, that all rolls up into this single token called Zora. That is actually a lot of our users' first ever crypto. Yeah. And it's such an amazing story and user experience, and it's magic when you go to Zora, you put your email in, you post, and then Zora shows up in your wallet, and you're basically getting ownership in this network and this app and this product that you're using every day. That's just like, I think that's just such a radical thing. It's like so obvious to people in crypto, but it's such a breakthrough. But for us, like we had that vision, I guess it would be coming up on a year ago now. Like we knew we wanted to build out this version of the product, and we knew what that North Star was, and that was what we're going to build into Zora. So my advice would be, it's like to the extent, I think you have the goal of like further decentralizing Base as a network. It's always like, how is the token fundamentally going to unlock that? What are the mechanisms and the designs and incentives and systems required to make that happen? And always anchor it back to that thing. Otherwise, you'll get lost in the source of, you'll get probably literally millions of Twitter replies just saying when and how and why for the next few months. But you always got to anchor it down. And it's like, what is the fundamental unlock and utility of this this token in the long term?
Yeah, and I mean, two things that really stand out to me is like you guys iterated on the Zora product to get to that conception of the product and the token and how it could be connected for 5 years.
Yeah.
It was a long grind, and then really intentionally thought through like how do you get to that next step. It's epic. Brianna?
I think when we started off having the token, it was mainly to fundraise because we are based out of the Southeast Asia. It's a bit hard to fundraise. But I agree with you that building a good product, it's a bit hard to juggle between like managing a token and also building a good product, honestly. Yeah. Like there will be a lot of noise when it comes to like token and stuff like that. And hence, when we start pivoting a lot, like along the way, we start thinking like, how can we have these aligned interests, aligned incentives among all the community that we have and builders that we have, and that's why we made Virtual as part of the pairing with all other AI agents, just so that everyone can sit in the same chat. Whereby Virtuals now tie everyone together with aligned interest on like, our goal is to make everyone co-own every single agent. That's how we think that by having everyone in every single skin of this game, everyone will have aligned interest on like improving the AI community, right? So having Virtuals as part of the whole incentive strategies that we have, that makes us feel like token is no longer now a distraction. It's actually part of the product that we are building together. So I think like when we have this like base considering having a native token, I think it's good to also think like how can this token be a fundamental token that is in the chain that will bring everyone, like every founders, everyone together in that sense.
Yeah. I love how for both you and Jacob, and obviously it's different segments, it's creators and it's agents, but you guys did the work and really like invented a way of figuring out, okay, we have this new crypto economic tool in the token, now how do we integrate it into our economy?
Yeah.
Like literally, like
Well, they're one and of the same thing.
yeah, it's like the same thing, right? Like
yeah.
how do we make it the substrate of the economy, and then how do we bubble that up into the product so that the product is reinforcing of the economy, and all of those things are working together, powered by this crypto economic tool that strengthens it all and accelerates it all and decentralizes it all.
Yeah.
It's really incredible. Alex?
Yeah, I would just riff off of what Jacob said earlier, in that tokens are probably the single biggest revolution that's happened to coordination since the invention of the firm, right? They're incredibly powerful tools. And as I think about what we've learned from Aerodrome as you guys are beginning this journey, I think there's sort of two core principles that we've always kept ourselves aligned to. One is that I think tokens must be maximally useful, right? They must have real on-chain utility, and that on-chain utility needs to be enforced by immutable code. You know, it's 2025. The only thing a token can do is go to a snapshot vote. You know, we're not doing our jobs on-chain, right?
But we've matured as an industry where it's like we now have the tools to pair things and to distribute, you know, incentives and revenue and do this long-term governance. That's real.
There's so much you can do. And I think the second principle is that tokens must like maximally capture and redistribute value, right? And the value that's redistributed must go to those contributing the most value to the network, right? And that's how you get this incentive alignment that I think has already been described a bit here. And I think if you do those two things, right, and because you're Coinbase and you'll do it the right way, as you said, and so you're also going to be free of a lot of the other baggage that comes with other tokens, you'll not just have one of the most innovative and useful network tokens, but you'll have this opportunity, right, to take that #1 place, take that leadership in the industry. And by the way, Aerodrome Launcher is going live soon, so we'd love to help you launch it when the time comes. You just let us know.
I love it, and it's been really cool to see Aerodrome. You know, you guys have obviously pioneered the kind of path with the Aero token and VER and all these things, but you're starting to help other teams pioneer as well. I mean, I've been watching the Syndicate launch, who's doing this first kind of like community. What is it called? Like a community
launch.
Community launch, where they're using the governance and distribution network of Aerodrome to do a token distribution in a way that's like really never happened before.
Yeah.
That sort of innovation is the innovation that I feel like is, you know, burgeoning in the base economy right now. And it's really going to be the thing that, you know, going back to when we, you know, I talked about the principles that we're going to live by. It's like decentralization, aligned participants, and then crypto native.
Yeah.
Like the crypto native one is really important, right? Like the Zora product and the Virtuals product and the Aerodrome product are what they are because you guys have figured out how do we push the boundaries of what's possible with crypto, and then how do we integrate that into this economic asset that's not just an economic asset, it's also a coordination asset, it's a piece of software, it's a connected part of this economy. And so that to me is just like, for everyone on base and for us as we're learning and figuring out, like it's such a core part of what we need to do, what we need to keep in mind.
Yeah, exactly. I think a very underrated point is that there are some of these things that I think Base is actually best in class at from a network standpoint, because for example, the token system we've designed, the cheap execution, so for the routing, pairing, every trade is putting liquidity back into the market, and we've got multiple levels of routing now, all this kind of stuff. Base is actually extremely cheap relative to every other network that we've explored adding. And I think this is where Base as a EVM, as an L2 currently, and all of these pieces, I think, are uniquely positioned to kind of advance all of these new types of crypto native value systems and mechanisms that we're just so early in. I think buybacks are extremely powerful. They're very simple, and I think that's why we're seeing such a huge moment with them right now. But I think the universe of things that we can expand and invent to add more and more on-chain and trustless value back into tokens is literally day one, and something that you need a very expressive smart contract network system to do so.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be I think there's going to be much more than 6 smart contracts for this. And I'm really excited to see where we are 2, 3, 5 years from now and what those new models look like.
100%. It's the combination of this fully expressive world computer language that credit to Ethereum and Vitalik and all of the incredible contributors who've built it in such a way that you can literally program value flows in a way that again, it's not just 6 contracts, it's infinite contracts because there's an infinite design space. And then you combine that with the scale where we're talking about thousands of TPS today, but a pathway to hundreds of thousands and then millions of TPS over the next few years. It's the perfect programming environment. There's stuff that's only possible on Base that y'all are innovating and figuring out before anyone else in the world. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I think it's a kind of a culture in the Base right now. I can see that Base has been innovating a lot. The recent engagement that we had was with the Flash blocks incident, which is a 200 milliseconds innovative work that has been done. I was speaking to a lot of engineers like Henry from Base, right? We have been talking a lot yesterday. And it's really impressive of how Base is listening to all the feedback from the builders and try to improve from network perspective, EVM perspective, how do we make it faster, make it more innovative. And that is something that keeps us excited and keep us really remember that we have to keep innovating in that sense, regardless whether it's from token size or even from the product size.
I love it.
I think that's the culture we are.
It's a culture of it's still day one.
Yeah,
every day.
it's
We need to
still day
figure out
one.
how to make it better. And we can do that better if we work together. And I feel like Flash blocks is a great example of that, where 200 millisecond block times. But let me just be clear, that we didn't do that alone. A huge shout out to the Flashbots team, to the Reth team, to the Optimism team. There are all of these teams across the ecosystem who are coordinating, figuring out how do we build open source, open standards that accelerate this infrastructure so that we can have the most programmable, most scalable, most powerful, low-cost block space in which we can build a global economy. I mean, it's incredible. And it's only possible because of all of us working together.
Yeah. I get the question a lot because I think Aerodrome was so early on Base, right? And Aerodrome basically bet entirely on Base, aligned incentives, right?
Yep.
We rise and fall together. But why did you make that bet, right? In a moment where I think the broader zeitgeist in crypto Twitter was quite skeptical.
Yeah.
And a core part of our thesis was just the idea that, look, Coinbase is not just a Fortune 500 betting their future on Ethereum, but that's a big one. Yeah. Coinbase is not just one of the most well-capitalized entities in the space. So if they're going to go, fight for a piece of the pie, they have the capital to do it. But that Coinbase is a product company. And, I hope I don't surprise anyone to say there are a lot of great builders in the space. I think there are not many, or there haven't been, it's changing, a lot of great product builders. And so the way you guys think about building the chain layer, building the ecosystem, building experiences like the Base app, integrating and distributing the on-chain economy, like the DEX integration, straight into Coinbase. You guys think like product builders. We need more product builders, and it is, I think, the edge of Base. It's why the community here feels so different. It's why there is so much opportunity. And for my part, I'll just say we've been very, very thankful to be along for the ride.
Yeah. Thankful to be building with you, with all of you, and yeah, I can honestly say that like every day I feel like I learn something from base builders. Whether it's like, the virtuals pairing model or watching Aerodrome or, the conversation I had with Jacob like maybe 7 months ago where the first time he was like, Jesse, every piece of content is going to be a coin. I was like, this is crazy, bro. Like, that's impossible. And then through conversations and him showing me the product, he said, no, man, like the world doesn't see it yet, but we see it. And it's not just going to be content, it's going to be creators, it's going to be creator capital markets. He saw it first before anyone, and then I was able to like learn from that. And that was, I don't know, it's the greatest gift that I could ever imagine, is like getting to be with the best, smartest people, whether it's in person or remote, and learning. I have one more question, a quick hit for all of y'all before we wrap up, which is that we're at the beginning of a new day one, and we have a lot of work to do exploring. It's going to take time. But also, like, there's a lot of people in this room, there's a lot of people on the stream who also are at the beginning of a new day one. And, they're going to contribute, of course, to the base journey of exploring a token, but they're going to have their own journey of, like, wake up today trying to do something new. What's each of y'all's, like, one piece of advice for, like, that builder as they're waking up and committing to a new day one?
Focus on the app. I think it's so easy to get lost in every other layer of the stack, the network, the protocol, all of the crypto side. But ultimately, you need to package that up into a world-class consumer product. And there's a lot of there's net new things that come from the crypto side, but there's also parts that have been like well-charted and good best practices there. And I think the upside is figuring out how to combine those two things. But I think where the era of crypto we're in right now is that the tech is ready, the infrastructure is ready, the regulatory environment is rapidly shifting and close to ready. So it's like, go build an app, I would say. Yeah, focus on the app.
And if you want to start with a small app or an app that gets you started, you can start with a mini app. This is one of the really powerful things we're seeing lots of builders do is by building a mini app that plugs into Base app or Farcaster, you get access to distribution and you can basically test and learn with a small user base that's growing faster and faster without worrying about the ton of the complexity. Like it's literally a website, but you can get access to notifications, you can have buy and sell transactions directly in line, you can connect to other mini apps. And so what we're seeing is that lots and lots of builders are starting there. They're iterating in place to get that value. And then as they grow, they can consider a fully native app. And that's this kind of experience where then the mini app becomes this acquisition channel for them. That's like delivering value at the point of consumption for users, and then gradually they're upgrading folks to full dedicated apps. It's really awesome to see. So I love that. Go build an app. Figure it out. Brianna?
Kind of quite a realistic one. I think if you really want to build something, figure out why you want to build it. If you are here telling me that you want to build something just to earn a lot of money, that's not the best way. Building a product has the lowest expected value in terms of monetary value. That's the reality, right? You want to earn money, there's a lot of ways of doing it, not building product, right? If you want to build product, think about why you want to build a product and aim for building the good product.
I love that.
Align with what Jigar has said, yeah.
I love that. And it's, I think that speaks to the mission that all of us are on. It's like if you don't have a mission of the vision of the future that you want to see come to life, and you're just here for the money, it's probably not the best place to build a product, or you probably shouldn't be building a product in the first place, and then it might not be the best place to build on Base. We want the missionaries. We want the people who believe, the creators, the builders, the organizers, who can see a different future and are laser focused on that and waking up every single day to make that happen. I love that. Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I will just riff right off of that, which is this industry is so incredibly new, right? The rules are not yet written. All of the things that the technology unlocks have not yet been figured out. And so as you are going and beginning to build, I would say think truly about your first principles. Think about the things that you want to do before you even go and look at how others are doing it. Because when we did that, right, we aligned on things like not raising, distributing maximally to community, all of this, that were really hard decisions. They were very scary decisions. And we had moments where we didn't know if it was going to work out. But I think if you really align on those first principles, and you never compromise. You can do something new that has never been done in the space and be rewarded and reward your community in ways that are totally different than everybody who came before. And if you do that, I mean, this is the place to be. If you succeed in this growing space, it's probably one of the most rewarding things you could do. So stick to those first principles, hold on for dear life, and build something that's never been built before.
I love it. It's not going to be easy.
No.
It's going to be really hard, but we're all going to be laying those stones along the way to help the builders who come after us. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Thank you.
And, I'm going to close this out. And so with that, we come to the end of the stream. I just want to say, everyone in the audience, stay for a couple more minutes. If you're on the live stream, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. We're so excited about this next chapter of Base. We're excited to help builders build, grow, and earn. We're excited to make Base the everything economy. And of course, we're excited to start exploring what a token could mean with all of y'all as we continue to decentralize, open, and scale Base. So thank you, everybody. Keep building, stay based.
Hey, Jesse, what's the CA?
Awesome. Thanks, everybody, for being here. That's it for the live stream. On the right screen. Woo, that's done now.